Big
Morning.
welcome to our tuned in viewers. Thank you for joining us for another iteration of the Irvine Gateway Experts Open for Business webinar series, an initiative developed to introduce foreign direct investors to our Irvine Gateway partners who are ready and willing to answer the most commonly asked questions when considering expansion to Irvine. Many of you have met today's Irvine Gateway expert in person. She's been an integral member of our Chamber's delegation to the UK since its conception. Whenever our companies have had concerns about building a robust workforce pipeline, workforce development programs, business development, state incentives, visas, you name it, she's been a reliable one-stop shop expert to help answer what seems like every question in the bucket. I'm so pleased to welcome Lynn Stewart of California State University, Fullerton. Today, she'll zero in on the workforce development programs and local financial incentives companies have to establish and grow their business. As a reminder, you are able to ask outstanding questions you have for Lynn through our Q&A Zoom feature. Just click the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen, submit your question, and we will get you an answer by the end of the presentation. Lynn, I'm particularly honored to have the opportunity to introduce you since we've traveled in a delegation to London together and I've seen you in action. I don't want to take any more valuable time away from our viewers, and I know you have some great content lined up for us, so please take it away.
Thank you, Jessica. And good morning, good evening, wherever in the world you may be. My name is Lynn Stewart, and I'm the Director of Economic and Workforce Development at California State University, Fullerton. We are the largest university in the California State University system of 23 campuses, and I work in particular for the Extension and International Programs Unit. And what that means is that we are the, I guess you could call it the economic and workforce development arm of the university. And so we focus on the business assistance side, access to talent, workforce training, and several other, I would say, non-academic related endeavors. Not that we don't have those available, but if you think of us as kind of that business unit. And so we have two locations to serve California, Southern California in particular, Fullerton and Irvine. And our Fullerton main campus is about 20 miles north of Irvine, but Irvine is where most of the economic development and business assistance takes place. And what we have in Irvine is at Orange County Inland Empire Small Business Development Center Network, which I will explain what they do a little bit later, because that's really important for business assistants and foreign investors looking to come in and establish their business in Southern California. And we do workforce training, professional development certifications, as I mentioned, access to talent. You know, we've got 39,000+ students and over 4,000 faculty and staff at the university, and so there's plenty to go around. And we also partner with the state and local agencies on various business development initiatives, and that's where you're going to hear a few of these in just a minute. But with regard to the university and extension in particular, we have lots of different services and resources available. So jumping right into it, in terms of workforce development incentives, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera so that I can see the slides a little bit better here, and hopefully you have a full screen. So California offers several different types of services geared around whether it's recruiting job seekers, as well as providing training for new workers and upskilling those current employees. So the very first one I'm going to cover is the Employment Training Panel. So the ETP is offered through the Workforce Investment Opportunities Act, and we call it WIOA. And it's funding that is provided to employers for workforce training programs. And it's based on business needs. And then the nice part about this is you as an employer can apply for these funds, but then also you can connect with someone who has these funds and simply run your employees through that training and have it paid for. So what I mean by that is, for example, we offer training programs in things like project management, data science, digital marketing, several different, short, when I say short, I mean anywhere from 3 to, 6 months training programs. And we can source those funds for you, and then the employee goes through the training that we provide, or we come out to your site, or it can be done, well, actually, ETP doesn't do online training fully. They'll do virtual, but it just has to be live. But again, the training would run through us, but the training is paid for through these ETP funds. So if you needed specialized training for your employees, or you just wanted to skill up a group of them, whether it was project management or even your marketing team in something, that's available. The next one is our division of apprenticeship standards. So through the state of California, we have this program that's focused on developing apprenticeships within organizations and for employees. In particular, you have those that need some training, that maybe still be, still in school, that would like some on-the-job training or some work-based learning experiences. And there could be funding available for this. And so this has been a pretty significant push recently within California to provide apprenticeship programs. And there currently is a list of programs through the Department of Labor. And with the state, they look at, okay, what kind of apprenticeship program do you want to put together if you're not choosing one that's already in existence and simply implementing it into your workplace. But there has been quite a bit of funding around providing these opportunities for you to be able to get some workers in, train them for a certain amount of time, therefore providing them a certain number of hours of work experience. And then at the end, whether you hire them or not, that's not a requirement. But that makes it easier for employers to get some employees that are trained, as well as feeding their workforce pipeline. The next workforce development incentive would be on-the-job training. And again, this differs from the ETP in that this is specifically for employees that you need to skill up, or, when you bring them on board, obviously there's a little bit of training that goes into bringing somebody new into the company. This allows you that time to provide that training for the employee while getting reimbursed up to 50% of the trainee's gross wages. And there is a cap, excuse me, on the actual wages. But it's that earn as you learn training program. And this really helps out. So it's not like you can bring, I think, a $100,000 annual salary employee and do this, but the cap, from what I remember, is pretty decent. And I provided the web addresses for more information because there are FAQs, and we can go deeper into that a little bit. But the OJT program is a nice one as you bring employees on that need some training, and while you get reimbursed for some of that. Next, we'll move to the financial incentives, or mainly the tax credits. And so California provides a host of incentives through grants, through mainly tax credits, as well as they do have some loans and some financing options, but we find that the tax credits are pretty popular. I think the main thing to remember with this is, and I'm covering a lot, with these financial incentives, there are caveats, there are requirements, and all of these things, but there is help, that you can get to navigate all of those requirements and the paperwork and everything through the California Business Portal. And I've provided the link in this presentation, and with the resources that I'm going to cover toward the end, there is always somebody to help you navigate this. So don't think like, wow, okay, she named off like 4 or 5 different incentive programs. I don't know what I qualify for. I'm not sure. There is somebody that can walk you through that. So just know that going into it. Probably the biggest program and the one that's the most popular is the California Competes tax credit. And so this is really meant for companies that want to locate in California and or grow in California. And so the state really wanted to provide that incentive for companies to, I think it started out mainly for companies to stay here as companies were being wooed away by other states. They want to make sure that companies can feel comfortable, number one, establishing here, and number two, really growing and thriving. And so this is a tax credit available to businesses of any size, any industry, any location, so you're not tied to a specific geographic area within the state. And they have 3 application periods during the year. I checked, and the last correspondence or the last documentation I saw on the website was dated April 27th of this year. So the reason I mention that is because right now with the current condition, we are, as many countries and I think countries around the world are in this position of trying to recover and get our businesses open and get things going again. And so with these incentives, I say this cautiously, is today. This is what exists today. This is what is still being funded today. And the documentation I saw on the website was dated April 27th. So it was $180 million dedicated to the California Competes program. And what that means is applicants can apply for this type of tax credit. And it's based on 12 different factors that are tied to job creation, the amount of the investment, the type of project that you're talking about. But there are lots of different criteria that are involved with the California Competes program. And there are 2 phases to the application. There's phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is really that brief overview of, okay, let's look at the application. What are you proposing? What are you asking for? And then there's a rating, and then the application will possibly move on to phase 2. There are a couple instances where it will automatically go to phase 2, and that's if without this tax credit and this funding, the business could not remain in California. Then it will automatically be moved to phase 2. The other one is the project could not take place, meaning it's a project that will create jobs and other economic impact. And again, if the company doesn't receive this type of funding or tax credit, it could not move forward. Then the application would move to phase 2. There are a lot of frequently asked questions around this. There's presentations and things on the website. So I would encourage you to check that out if you're interested. The next incentive is the Research and Development Tax Credit. This is, again, another income tax credit for a business that has incurred expenses through research and development in California. And what that qualified research activity can entail is supplies, contract research costs. The nice thing about this is also wages that can go for some of the researchers and others involved in this project. And so there's a list of criteria, but I know several of Orange County's life science companies have taken advantage of this R&D tax credit. More financial incentives. We're not done yet. There's the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. And this is something that I found not as many people know about as I thought. But this is available to employers who hire individuals from certain targeted groups. And so we call them underrepresented groups, and could be minorities, it could be others, or in a certain targeted area. And it provides a federal tax credit up to $9,600 per new hire to employers who hire these individuals. And so that's the incentive. And there are several different criteria around it. I believe one is you have to provide a certain wage. So 150% of California's minimum wage. So California's minimum wage right now is $12 per hour. And there are other stipulations in there, but it's something to definitely take a look at as it can provide some funding and incentive. The new employment credit. So this is an income tax credit available to companies that hire full-time employees within a designated geographic area. And so generally those are areas where the unemployment rate is a little bit higher than what the average is. They would like to see some economic impact, a boost to the local economy. And so they would provide or allow this new employment credit for employees within certain designated geographic areas. That goes also to establishing your business in a certain geographic area where some of these tax incentives are available as well. But that's just one regarding employees specifically. So, gone through several incentives, workforce and also tax credit related. And this website, business.ca.gov, is where you're going to find all of this information. And this is where I highly recommend you go on this website and just start browsing, because there's information on industry specific incentives. There's information on some loan programs, financing, a host of other business related topics. And I'd say that the frequently asked questions portion to these is very helpful. There are also then outside links to assistance, for example, our franchise tax board, which would be the one to go ahead and work with regard to the tax credits. But so many resources on this particular website specific to the incentives I just mentioned. And like I said, there is help available to navigate all of this. The Small Business Development Centers of California. Now this is it's actually a national program. And so America's SBDCs are funded by the federal government, by the Small Business Administration, and their sole purpose is to help people start a business and grow a business. And what that means to people coming into California, regardless if you're coming from another state or another country, this help is available. And so we have our Orange County Inland Empire Small Business Development Center network. And the university actually hosts this. And the main center is located in Irvine. And they are the go-to resource for small business. And their services, I would say good 95% of them are no cost. And with the topics listed below, you've got business planning, finance, government contracting, marketing. You can sit down with a business advisor at no cost and they help you get your business established. If you're looking for loans or financing, they will shop the loan for you. They help you put the paperwork together. And so they're really just a phenomenal resource, and one that's just not used enough. And so right now, they are the ones that are hosting these daily webinars around COVID-19. They're taking about, and in addition to an 800 number they established about 6 weeks ago, about 400 calls a day. And then on the webinars, I think over the last 6 weeks, they've had about 61,000 attendees to these webinars from across Los Angeles, Orange County, Inland Empire. And so they're providing a lot of business assistance. And they can also help navigate some of those incentive programs. And the nice thing is they can also business you want to set up, do I incorporate? What kind of corporation do I set up? Lots of those questions, they can help you navigate as well. And so I highly recommend keeping them kind of in the forefront as a business resource as well. And now, questions. I've just unloaded a lot of information in a short amount of time. So happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Lynn. So I do have a few questions. One that I came in asking if you knew of any incentives, financial incentives that Orange County or the city of Irvine specifically offers.
For the city, no, not at the moment. Just in that simply because we're in the middle of the COVID-19 recovery, and so I don't know what incentives are on the table or off the table. But for right now, they're in recovery mode, and so they're trying to deploy a lot of the funding to small businesses in particular to help them reopen, to help them get through this particular time. But happy to look into what is available and provide that.
Thank you. The second question is there a minimum amount requirement for California Competes, and is there a maximum?
Yes, so California Competes, the tax credit, the minimum amount you can ask for is $20,000. The maximum, according to their FAQs most recently, is they don't allow more than 20% of that maximum amount to go to any one company. So assuming of that 180 million, you're talking 20% of that would not go to any one company.
Fantastic.
So yes, you can request several millions in tax credit.
Great, thank you. And what are the requirements for employees on the employee training panel? Is there a minimum they have to make?
Yes, so that's tied to the hourly wage, and right now it's a little over $18 an hour, and what that's comprised of is their wage plus their benefits. And so that number needs to equal, I think it's $18 and either 26 cents an hour or 57 cents an hour, I forget, but a little over $18 an hour for them to qualify for the ETP training. But there is no limit at this point on number of employees that I'm aware of.
Fantastic. I think that looks like it is it. So thank you so much for your time, Lynn. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for answering all those questions. As always, you're always committed and so knowledgeable when it comes to all of our concerns that our foreign direct investors may potentially have expanding here. And we always admire and are appreciative of your support. So thank you. For our viewers, if you have any further questions about the topics that were covered today, feel free to reach out to Lynn directly. I'll go ahead and send an email out to everyone who's registered with Lynn's contact information and the PowerPoint slides attached, so you can access all that wonderful content and all the URLs that she posted in her PowerPoint presentation. And if you're ready to take that next step to expand to Irvine, Southern California, so feel free to reach out to Linda directly at her email, ldemario@irvinechamber.com. She'll be able to help introduce you to experts, partners, resources you need, so don't hesitate to reach out. And please join us for our next webinar installment with Luis Vasquez, Associate Director of Venture Capital Collaboration at UC Irvine Beale Applied Innovation, where he will provide a description of the Orange County innovation ecosystem, University of California, Irvine's role in that, and the services and support UCI provides to innovation-based companies.